can't be dispelled from or resisted by rebels.
All right. First of all, I would like you to tell me what the L and the S stand for.
Light side.
Okay, yeah, light side for the TIE bomber.
What do Luke Skywalker? No, I have no idea.
So obviously that's what it stands for, because that was really fast. Kudos.
Thank you.
You're as good with acronyms as you are as math.
Yeah. What does the LS stand for in
Oh, I don't know. This is what you're here for, Sarah.
Oh, I thought this was like a quiz for me. Man.
No, I don't know.
Luke Skywalker the first.
Luke Skywalker 1, basically, the TIE bomber.
Yeah.
It means laser.
Laser shot.
Laser shot 1. Yes.
The laser shot 1. Why is the hyphen between the L and the S then?
Because that's the laser.
So
you got the laser cannon.
so hang on, back
that
up.
Is a good one. I like it. Sarah, no, we're done. Just move on.
No, just back up. That means that the name is Laser Shot 1 Laser Cannons.
Yeah, yep. And there's a little laser between them. That all checks out.
All right, just making sure we're good. Is that actually what it stands for, laser shot?
Yes.
Okay. You guys aren't joking with me because I'm
no, I don't know. I think he's
this
joking,
is canon.
But now he's like nodding like it is canon. I don't know.
Like,
this is Star Wars canon. This is like the laser cannon.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's all canon.
It's gonna be in the next like encyclopedia of the Star Wars book. It's gonna have this in there.
I mean, my initials are SL, so we could say it's my canon, just reverse.
I like it.
What? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Special 1, proton bombardment. Dispel all buffs on all enemies, then deal physical damage and inflict burning on them for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled from or resisted by rebels. This ability can't be evaded. That is... They're really picking on rebels. So this is like super targeted against MILFs.
Sure sounds that way.
That's what
do people need a Millennium Falcon counter right now?
Right. I don't think so. Anyway, carrying on. Unique 1, dual pod design. The Imperial TIE Bomber has plus 20% max protection for each active Empire ally, including the allied capital ship. When it enters battle and gains 20% max protection every time another Empire ally enters battle from reinforcements. Wait, what? When it enters... So if he okay. I got a question already. Empire allies ignore 20% defense for each rebel and each target locked enemy. The Imperial TIE Bomber gains taunt at the end of the turn if an enemy is target locked and the TIE Bomber isn't already taunting. This effect expires at the end of the turn if there are no target locked enemies. While any rebel enemy is target locked, all rebel enemies deal 50% less damage. While enemies, that is big. While enemies are inflicted with burning, they have minus 25% offense, doubled for light side enemies. Rebel enemies can't attack out of turn while burning.
Hold on. So
that is a mouthful.
If you're a rebel,
yeah,
and you're target locked and burned, is your offense 0?
No, because
I know, but like, how does 50% plus 50% not equal 100%?
Well, see, when a rebel enemy is target locked, rebel enemies deal 50% less damage. It's got nothing to do with your offense at that point. Just the final.
Just the number.
Yep. All right. I'm on board with you there.
I got a question. So he has plus 20% max protection for each ally when it enters the battle and gains 20% max protection every time another Empire ally enters the battle. Does that mean he has to enter as a reinforcement?
No. It means at the start of battle, if you've only got one Empire ally,
right,
then he gets 20%.
Got it.
Then once an ally comes in, however many Empire allies have existed on your side of the battlefield,
it goes up.
Yeah.
That is very poorly worded. Just would like to say. But that's
shocking.
I know. Reinforcement, reserve ordnance. Enter battle, because that's what you do as a reinforcement. Inflict burning on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled from or resisted by rebels. Then call another random Empire ally to assist. This ability can't be evaded.
Got it. They're really honing in on the rebels, which makes sense for a bomber of the Empire.
I mean, they've
All right,
always, when they come out with Empire and Rebel stuff, feel the need to throw in anti-Rebel, anti-Empire language in there.
Yep.
Right.
But it never amounts to anything.
Right? Is there, like, since they've added that into the game, none of them have been like meta. Yes, Akbar was forever, but they didn't add any Empire ships that had that in the meantime, or at least useful ones. Like maybe I don't know. No, the Sith bomber and stuff. That's not Empire, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to think. Anyway, Sir G.
Yes.
Is that any good? Do people have either of you used this or looked into it? Is it unlocked? Fill me in. Where are you at?
I didn't get him.
I got him, and I actually went hard just because
I did not.
I like
try.
I really like the look. I like the
it's a great design ship.
Oh yeah,
I love me a TIE bomber.
Which is funny that you guys say that, because the people in ODB were making fun of the artwork for it.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
no,
it's low quality artwork.
Oh, that could be in game. I'm talking about like behind Sir G right now sits the Imperial TIE bomber, and like that's a dope ship.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
okay, yes.
Because it's got Vader's whole design of the wings.
Right,
and
it's
everything.
the TIE Defender, but just a little chunkier or whatever. Yeah,
it's great. So he looks awesome. I went hard on him so that I have a 5-star TIE bomber.
You got a 5-star?
I do. I was doing the 200 refreshes. Because why not?
Holy. I'll tell you why not.
It's really annoying farming the Galactic Republic Y-Wing and the Hyena bomber. So I don't want to have to go through that again of waiting months and months. Because I'm going to spend
time.
Right. I'm going to spend
I like me
crystals.
some galactic chases, and you get all these gear, whatever, the relic stuff.
So I will say, I thought the drop rate on this one was way better than the Rebel Y Galactic Chase.
For sure.
Which is idiotic. If you're going to have a galactic chase, the drop rate should be the same across the board. It shouldn't matter if it's in a ship node or cantina or wherever. Drop rate is a drop rate.
For sure.
Is my opinion. Because I ended with 16 more shards of the Imperial TIE Bomber than I did with the Rebel Y-Wing. And the Y-Wing, I actually did a refresh every single day for it. And this one, I didn't even refresh.
Yeah. It's garbage.
So, that's all. I don't have either of them, but carry on.
So I used the TIE Bomber in Territory War this morning. And it dropped after 2 hits.
Oh.
It was terrible.
Did you use it against?
I was waiting for and it used it. Oh, no.
Did you use it against one of the MILF teams that was up?
No, I used it against Galactic Republic.
Oh.
But you'd hope it would last.
How does your guild leader feel about that? I heard her say,
we'd already lost it at that point.
Yeah. I don't even coordinate Territory War, so I'm not judging.
Good. My loss there did not make or break the win or lose. So that's why I felt like it was okay.
So at that point, if we're already losing, by all means, test away.
So did a Territory War end today?
It did this morning.
Oh man!
And
my God, Faye!
Are you guildless now?
No. Oh yeah.
Have you already uninstalled?
It was officially uninstalled yesterday, but I haven't played it in about 3 days.
Okay.
We did lose. We accidentally sandbagged and then got sandbagged.
You got overly sandbagged.
We got overly sandbagged. Somehow.
I believe that's called sweet justice.
But we only lost by like 400 points or something like that. It was really close. Which was good considering they also had like 9 more Galactic Legends than us or something like that.
So what you're saying is Sir G using the TIE Bomber posed you. That's what I got out of that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was carrying us on his back. And I was
No,
like,
no. That's
like,
not.
yes.
I was carrying them on the TIE bomber, and then we got shot down.
All I'm going to say is I won my fleet battle this morning.
So G, any counter to that, or?
I won 2 fleet battles.
Okay,
But hold on, counter. Did you win all of your fleet? Because
Yeah.
I
it seems like
won
Sarah did.
twice. I won twice.
I'm going to keep drinking.
Me too. I actually did make a little stronger drink than normal, and have gone into other drinks already. So.
Oh man.
Since we're on the topic, what I would
Yeah.
like to happen with ships is that I can have some cleanser that doesn't have to be the Gauntlet Starfighter for my first order, because they're fun to use with their healing and the new capital ship. But versus a Galactic Republic, once they get dazed, they're all hosed. They're all dead.
Yep.
So anyways,
True.
TIE Bomber got wrecked. But I do think that he has potential. I don't think he makes an Empire fleet or a Sith fleet viable at all versus the popular teams, the Malevolence and the Negotiator squads. But I think that he seems like more of a plug and play than we've had in a while, because his reinforcement does burning on all enemies, and that burning, no matter who it is, will reduce their offense by 25%, reduce their evasion, I think, by 25%. And if they're light side enemies, so Negotiator, Galactic Republic squads, it'll still reduce 50%, even if they aren't rebels. So
Yep.
just having him as a reinforcement, boom, everybody's lost half of their offense.
Which is huge.
Yeah, I think he's got potential.
Hmm.
I think he has potential.
So you're
Excellent.
happy you got him.
I don't care whether I got him or not. I just did it just because.
No, you're right. It's one of those on the back end.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully it'll
still-
reward later.
Correct.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot easier. And again, like doing 200 refreshes, depending on how many crystals you have, just for the relic stuff isn't a terrible idea. It's not the best, I would say, uses, but it's not terrible.
Right.
So not only are you getting that, you're also getting the relic stuff that you need too. Galactic Chases, count me in. Just saying.
That's why I thought this one was more valuable to actually invest crystals than the last Galactic Chase.
If I had already had Ray, then I would have refreshed for it. But I was spending all of my crystals refreshing for tickets.
That sounds like a better choice.
So.
Number 2. Apparently some buffs were added to Kylo Ren. Someone pointed that out today. And then I got to do my research for the notes here, and like, holy moly, they changed him quite a bit. Or not. They added all dark side allies gain plus 30 speed to all tiers. So that's obviously huge. I mean, that used to be like the best leader period would just have plus 30 speed, and nothing else was necessary. Like Tarkin at the day didn't he start off like plus 26 or something, and then they reworked him again, but it was
like plus 28, or it was like plus 20 at first, and then when they reworked it, plus 28, something weird for
but a Zeta gave you like 2 more speed or something silly like that. But anyway, like that used to be an entire leadership in itself that they added. And then that dark side allies can't be critically hit while they have advantage, which is quite a bit, right? All the time.
That's a big deal. That's
Sir
a big
G,
deal.
Kylo, I know
Yes.
you've always been down on the man.
I have.
Is Buddy Boy any better?
He's much better.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
They didn't have to do much. And before, there wasn't much point to having his leadership, in my opinion. But just
listen or refer to episode 48
Right.
2 weeks ago, where
Right.
it's been mentioned multiple times, that episode, and multiple times in the ones before, as the biggest consternation of
Yes.
unlocking him.
yes. But just with these 2 little changes, it does help enough to where Now Rays have much more difficulty defeating my Supreme Leader Kylo
On offense?
on offense. I haven't left top 10 now since this buff
Got it.
in switching to a Supreme Leader Kylo lead. So I am much
That's
happier.
a big change where we were 2 weeks ago.
Much happier.
Yeah.
Big change.
Well,
And
your attitude, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know about the actual.
the speed boost is nice. I don't think that's what makes a big difference. It might help one or two of your allies go before some of the enemies.
Sure, right? Like once you have someone going 500 speed, like it totally...
Yes. Now it doesn't even matter. Everything revolved around the Galactic Legends now. So what really helps is the dark side allies can't be critically hit while they have advantage. Because Kylo will give everybody advantage with his AoE. He already had in his leadership when people lose advantage and without doing a critical hit, they gain it right back. So now the General Skywalker critically hitting him, keeping him from getting to use his specials, doesn't happen as often. Now any tank you throw on the team will survive twice as long at least, because they aren't being critically hit until they actually take a turn. So even though the enemy team might do laps around them because of Rey's leadership and Rey constantly taking turns, I'm now running it with Geonosian Brute
Yep.
Alpha. Yeah. So his Brute now survives a lot longer, and Malik will survive, so I've got him in there as well. It really helps. And it really helps when it gets down to one-on-one versus anybody by them not being able to wipe out Supreme Leader Kylo.
As a Rey person, this is BS. I'm quitting the game.
Now the other thing though that affects my experience a bit is that I got the ultimate, so that also has really helped. Because now, if I didn't have the ultimate, I think Reyes could still beat me, no problem. But now with the advantage of not having my cooldowns increased, having tanks survive longer, allowing Kylo to have other people distracting the enemies while he can charge up his power, it really makes it a lot better. So I think it's more on par, the two Galactic Legends in Arena now. And some cases where enemy Reys can't do enough damage to kill Kylo. They can kill everybody else, but because he can't take any damage while in his ultimate ability, really hard to kill him.
Basing like on our past episodes here, if Sir G is saying they're like on par, that makes me think that Kylo is like at least 20% better than Rey is now.
Don't tell me this.
Your complaining worked. It worked.
I'm very
they
happy.
Were listening.
I'm very happy. I'm very
On
pleased.
the flip side of this, congratulations to Celiac Sarah. You unlocked Rey, right? That's
I
how picture
did.
that. That's exciting.
I
Good
did.
work.
Thanks. I did
No
it this
way!
morning.
No way!
Yeah. I did it this morning, and I am 39 stun guns short of taking her to gear 13.
Nice.
Womp womp.
I
Do you have the crystals?
I think I still have like 700.
I do
Think
not
can give them
have
to you.
the crystals. Yeah, can you give me them, please? I do not
Let's
have
see.
the crystals, so which frustrates me because I spent all my crystals refreshing.
Now that you have to, like that's the Galactic Legends
Yeah.
are worth all of your resources and then some. Like
Yeah,
and it needs
so-
to be done. So
They'll show up. I bought, so when I unlocked her, I was actually 51 guns and 21 laptop Kairos short. So I bought the Kairos that I needed. I would rather buy the Kairos and wait for the guns to show up in the store. So
Kairos are stupid.
that's where I am. The Kairos are stupid. And the game totally knows when you need things. So it does. Fine. I'll get the guns. I don't know.
And then ready
Okay.
for R7 right away, or
Yeah.
What's the and
Yep.
what about where you at on the 6 Zetas?
Oh, I Zeta'd her right away.
Yeah.
They're
Isn't
done.
that crazy that the Zetas
I
are
was like,
now
they're
like the last thing that people are worried about? Like, oh yeah, I have 120 Zetas ready. Of course I do.
It is crazy.
I will
is,
say
but-
it was kind of nice that I didn't have to go through like 7 levels of abilities to get to her Zetas every time.
There was like 2 or 3 to
Yeah,
get
I was like,
through.
okay, this is a lot faster.
Yep.
But there's 5 million.
After waiting like whenever they announced this November and now it's
Right.
June and you're like, yeah, thanks for not making me push the button 4 more times after
Yeah.
7 months, 8 months.
I will say I hated the rock paper scissors tier. Hated it.
I
Hated
liked
it.
it.
Hated it. Oh, it was the laziest gameplay I've ever seen. Because also, like, fine, whatever. You want to be creative and you want to
Not
make it
creative,
better.
but yes,
you
continue.
want to think out of the. This is why I think it was lazy. You have 3 different abilities to choose from.
For
right?
those of you listening, she used air quotes, and
Air
those
quotes.
are really sassy air quotes, as they should be.
They're sad. But this is why it's lazy. Is her in-game maneuver is the exact same.
You can't even tell which freaking one she used if you're not.
What is the point? What is the point of having 3 different? That's like playing rock paper scissors and just saying what you're gonna call out, but doing a rock every time.
It's exactly what it is.
I enjoyed when she has a misplay and it puts question marks above her head.
Yeah, and the vice versa. That's when Kylo does it too. Like you're just doing that, and like, okay, good, and then I can go on to the next. Sarah, have you won all of your battles, or were they? Did you have a couple of losses in there?
I won them all. The first one, I realized I didn't waste any tickets, but I realized I had messed up the pattern. So I had to like backtrack and like count what I did, and it was not fun.
Wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean you had to backtrack?
I had to I realized that I was okay. So basically, when I watched a video on like what the pattern was, and I was like, okay, cool, and I wrote it down, but I wasn't paying attention to the bottoms or the buttons in the bottom corner. I was just paying attention to what I needed, like feint, parry, strike, whatever the things were I had to push. So I wasn't paying attention to the fact that after you hit one of those abilities, there's another little box that comes up, ability button, that's on its own. So I was like, okay, what do you start with? Feint? And I was like, okay, I guess this is strike because this is the only one that I can hit. And then I like long pressed on it. I was like, it doesn't say it's strike, but I'm assuming it's strike because it's the only thing I can hit. Yeah, that was the wrong.
Good thing when she visually did the move, you could tell which one it was then, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. It made it a lot easier for me to find out what my missteps were. And then on my 3rd try of it, I didn't mess it up, but somehow it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't calculating it properly. I was following the pattern and I was going like for 5 or 6 tries before I got the little, dual icon thing. And he got 2 hits on me and I was like, if I lose these tickets, I'm gonna rage. I'm gonna quit with Faye.
It is. And did you switch over to the 1D node now that you had the Kyro?
I did.
Isn't it fun to at least get you get 20 things if you do a bunch at one time? Like it's just so different than.
And it was actually fitting because the first tier for the relics is the stuff that I have the least of. So.
Yeah, those are the ones I had trouble with. Isn't that? Stop it.
Yeah.
Done for 2 days.
Oh my God.
Past tense. All right.
Carrying on.
So congratulations, Sarah. That's exciting.
Thanks. Now
Who do you plan on running an arena? What's the
I don't know. So everyone in my arena that has her, except for the giant whale, is running her with Gas, Watt, Jedi Knight Revan, and General Kenobi.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, that team sucks.
That was the one you mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Sergi.
It's garbage.
It's garbage like it's easy to beat, or
it's garbage like it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, garbage for him because he has Buddy Boy.
It's garbage like any team besides Supreme Leader Kylo with an ultimate cannot beat it.
Okay, so I'm gonna run that. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, and then the one whale in my shard is running her with, I think, the 2 heroes and Xeris, and I don't even know who the 5th is.
L3 or something.
I don't know, something dumb. He's a jerk. We don't talk to him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of jerk moves, I think I'm not up on this, so I don't know if you two have, but number 3, I think it's worth mentioning. Someone pointed out, I did go and look into this. I can't say Arnold. It just really bothers me. Can I just say
Arnold?
Yeah, but the biggest name in content creating by a mile. And he stepped up his game. I don't do much, or haven't done YouTube for a while, but I still every once in a while would fast forward through his 3v3s or GAC stuff, because not very many people have like all of the tunes, and like sometimes you need to, without the game changers, we don't have all of the like what do I do in this scenario type of things.
Yeah.
And he certainly has stepped up his production values. Like I haven't watched him for a while, but he's kudos to him on that. You can like him personally or not, whatever. Point is, he had several accounts. One of them was a borrowed account, and he had that one was deleted by banned by CG, and it led to the by far, I mean, not even remotely close, the most like commented and liked Reddit post on our SWGOH Reddit thing, and some even outside of the game itself. So people that do Battlefront or something apparently are commenting on how BS of a move it is from CG. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later myself, not the Arnold thing, but just CG in general. But did either of you two follow that? See, like, Sarah, do you have any thoughts on him getting a banned account, which, by the way, is technically he got it from another whale,
right,
and is against the terms of service.
Right.
They gave it to someone else. So like in there, I think this would be the legal, like they can do this. So it's not a matter of can they or he didn't agree to it. It's not he didn't agree to it. The original guy didn't agree to it, or did agree to it. So it's a tricky thing.
I didn't watch his video. I just kind of like read what was going on.
Right. Yeah.
So to be clear, maybe I was misinformed. I was told that he bought the account. He didn't buy it. Not
from the video he made.
I think if you buy it, I would like be more on CG's side, because we all know that they don't like they don't want you doing that. I think if you're given an account, like, why is that an issue to CG? I'm not making any money of it. If like, think of it this way: if I spent money on this account and CG's getting that money, and
he's
now
apparently spending big money on it, like thousands of dollars on this other account too.
But like, let's just say I'm account holder A, like the original, and I've spent money on it, and now I'm like, you know what? I don't want to play, but my buddy wants to play. I'm gonna give him my account. He's gonna play, and he's gonna spend money. I haven't made any money off of it. Why does it matter?
It's
devil's advocate. It matters because they would want you to start from the beginning and have to spend more money to get to that same point.
Okay, fine.
So if the first whale spent $50,000 to get there,
which is, I mean, just freaking bonkers that you get used to it, I guess. But like I went on Reddit today, and someone else that had posted about it from an outside community made a comment like they spent $700 on Galactic Legend Ray, and I just like chuckled. Like there are people that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and they use the 700 as like, can you believe this ridiculous number? And for them to like, if I had spent $50,000, which is a reason not to spend $50,000 on this freaking game, don't do it, people.
Yeah.
Like, if I had spent that, you're buying not just like a rundown, like you're buying a new Porsche SUV.
Yeah.
And you can have it taken away at any time with no repercussions whatsoever.
Yeah.
That is bonkers. Can you like just they take your car, or in some places like for other parts of the world, like your house, and just being like, you know what? You didn't follow these one things on this rule, so yoink.
And you're not going to
And-
take them to court for like you would a car.
Right, like it's
Yeah.
Because
just
it doesn't matter if they do it unjustly. They do what they want.
a median like household income of the US. They just like
Yes.
take away from you and being like, you said this in this long list of things that nobody reads.
Yeah.
We're gonna crazy. So I on the other hand, like legally, I think that's they can do that, and people agree to it to play to start with. But the overall idea of that and like some laws as far as ownership and spending some of the money may need to be adjusted type of thing. I think that's a bigger thing for me. But also CG, why? What possible reason do they have for this?
It just doesn't make any sense. Like I totally get, Sergi, I get your devil's advocate point about how like you want them to start from scratch and like spend the same amount of money. But like to me, if I was given an account, I'd be like, cool, so I have this awesome account. I'm going to keep it awesome. So I'm going to keep spending money. Whereas if I were starting from scratch, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to spend money.
Yes.
And not even like what Sergina is saying is again totally true. That is part of it, and they don't
That's just
also
me.
want to create a black market in a way to
Yeah.
selling the things and getting it. So there's other slippery slopes, if you will. But on the flip side of it, it's not like he can also get this account and like spend the money to get these mods and to get this part. Like you cannot spend money to get to where this Kraken account is. It's not possible. You cannot spend enough money to get to here because they're not all available in the game. The money and the mods in particular cannot reach this point until you've been playing for a certain amount of time.
Right.
And to just totally flush that down the drain is, again, cray.
Yeah. So my thoughts on the matter are that I'm on Arnold's side, the spirit of it. Technically, they have every right to ban the account because it's not his account. And what Arnold should have done was, instead of, because I watched his video, and from what I recall, he got this account from a Kraken that was retiring, who had a like 7.5 million GP. I think he said they really did spend $50,000 on the account. So because
American US dollars, 50,000.
That's like 100,000 Canadian.
Ridiculous.
Right?
So then, because Arnold didn't have a content creator developer account, he used this one, because it has everything, as his test account, pretty much. So he would spend when a new thing came in for this test account. He should have just done that to his main account. I don't think it would have been a ton more spent. So that's what he should have done, and then there wouldn't be any issue.
Right.
But at the same, because they aren't banning his main account. I'm sure they know the ally code of his main account.
Sure, yes.
So
they most certainly do. You can look it up in 2 seconds on .gg.
So they it's not a big attack on him. They aren't keeping him from creating content.
But there are also like plenty of other people that share stuff and have done that aren't as cracked down. And even if it's not, like if it's in the terms, it's a bad look.
It is. But
they don't care. How long has it been since they cared about any of that stuff?
Right.
About being something that the community thought was a good move. Years, literal years. Am I wrong? Like I can't think of a single thing that they have done that has been goodwill to the community.
They just act ignorant. They're like, everything's great. Everybody's having fun.
Well, when was it when Bulldog's account was banned? That wasn't that long ago. Was it?
6 months. Yeah.
6 months. And that was probably the last time where they were like, oh, we fixed this kind of thing. But after the fact. And even then it wasn't very well handled.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
reiterate my statements that I keep saying about them, and they need a PR lesson.
They need everything.
I'm on Arnold's side because I think people should be able to give away their accounts.
Yeah.
Because the money spent, it should belong to you. This digital currency, as long as the game is running, it should belong to you to do with what you want to do with.
Yep.
That's why I'm on Arnold's side.
So, like, I don't know. I don't play a lot of console games anymore, but I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. But if I buy something, if I'm playing a game on my PlayStation and I buy something on my PlayStation, it is now on my console. They're not going to take it away.
Well, if you buy the physical disc, the digital ones, they could do that.
They could take it away.
Sure.
Even though I've bought it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's similar to like a Kindle. If you download something, you can use it when you're not connected to Wi-Fi. But if you borrow something from a library and then you hook back up to the internet, then they'll take it away. Like Sony could, any of your digital content, they could lock it from their side once you're connected to the internet again.
I don't think that they legally can, though, because it's not the same thing where they like what you're trying to point out is that CG says from the beginning, we have the right to shut this down at any time and make all this, like, we can shut our game down, we can shut you down. So we'll just keep you from logging into the game. Whereas a console, if you bought a game, I think it belongs to your account, whether it's a PlayStation Network.
Okay, so here's my other point then. If CG shuts the game down, do I get a refund?
No.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's almost more. That one's a little trickier for me.
I know that one's
correct.
A stretch,
like they're not. You can't force them to keep the servers on.
But also, like, if I'm logging in and playing it and still putting money into it, why are you going to take it away?
Yeah. So it's in music too, and which is why I'm pretty sure the digital stuff doesn't belong to you. Is like Bruce Willis had a huge thing. Like he owns hundreds of thousands of dollars of like digital music, but he doesn't own it, so he can't like bequeath it to his kids. And I believe he sued Apple about this. Like it's an ongoing thing that he like wants it to be owned by him because of Apple was to go away, or technically at some time they could theoretically just take it away from his access to that.
This is why you always buy a hard copy.
Oh, well, but it's so freaking annoying to get out of your chair. And
let's put on the record in our record player.
Yeah, well, it's similarly like some of these discs now are basically nothing. Like they just give you access to download the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I almost do all digital console games. And I got like Fallen Order in the disc for my birthday. And it's still like, a 40-minute download to like start the freaking game. I was like, oh geez, why can't I just plug it in and play it? But that's just old people talk, as we discussed about earlier.
Yeah. But now
and then made a couple comments about like other cheaters that were like straight up cheating and were kicked out for a week of their choosing and things like that, which is a good time to play that card. I totally
it is
get that using, because they're not the same thing, and cheating when there's $100,000 on the line for some people is kind of crazy.
Yep. So I'm on Arnold's side. He's technically in the wrong. He should have done it to his main account and whale there, because I don't think a 5.5 million GP would need a lot of money with as much as he's making to get on par with a 7.5.
I think his main account last I saw was up to like 6.5 million.
There you go. So,
like he's pretty close to there, like pretty close. Again, ignore me because like that's $3,000 to $7,000.
Right.
But if you're going to spend $2,000 on this one, how much difference? Yeah.
Exactly.
How much difference does it make? It makes $5,000. That's a lot of difference. So, but you're right in the whole scope of it.
Yes. Now
I totally get it.
His point. Now the spirit of it all, though, is that he reached out to CG about a bug that was keeping him from spending. That is how CG got the ally code for this account. and then banned him.
Uh,
From him reaching out to them, not publicly saying that there's a bug. Granted, it was just about spending, but still, he reached out to them. They then got the info they needed.
Because he wanted to spend money?
Yes, because he wanted to spend money. And then they banned his account. And
the irony,
That's
like,
funny.
it's like they're telling you not to ever reach out to them.
for real.
Like that's the message that I'm getting. Is if you have a
think
problem, don't
That
talk to
message
us.
has been for years. That don't reach out to them.
Mhm.
And his contacts completely ignored him from CG, from his Game Changer days.
I've been there for right away when we started the show.
Mhm.
We were like super close to having them on the show.
Yeah, I remember.
And then, I mean, like a couple months into it. And then it was just boom, just silence,
Ghosted you.
nothing. And for like every month for like 6 months, it's like, hey guys, remember when you said we're going to be on the show?
Nothing.
And this was 2 years ago now at this point. But it was, yeah. Anyway, so I've been there. We've tried. It's been a thing. I understand.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's one of those like they owe us anything per se, but did it really, like, when they enjoy coming on? CG, good stuff they have. All right.
Well, I got one more thing.
To continue. Yeah,
To compliment Arnold's talk about how they ban him, but then let cheaters play the game again. Recently, a high-profile cheater from our arena that got banned once they actually started showing the Grand Arena history, and he clearly cheated, so was banned, recently got his account back.
Excellent.
So contacted me asking if I could let this other person who is now running his account in, when the other person was him, but he burned so many bridges and so many people didn't like him that he decided to create a different persona with a with a
I thought
similar.
it was funny that he was selling his account, but it's still the same guy.
It's still the same
It's
guy.
the same guy.
100%. 100%.
Oh my god.
In
I
fact,
mean, I just respect that now. It's just like, okay, all right.
I'm gonna change my name and it's gonna be Celiac Sarah with no H.
And I'm like, who is this?
New player.
Finally got rid of that one. Yeah. New phone, who did?
so he came to me saying, "You should really let this guy in. He's a nice guy."
Did he tell him about all of his qualities? Like, he's really good with cats, and
Yeah, likes long walks on the beach.
darts are his favorite pastime in the bar.
So his name is a Star Wars character with the year of the first movie. He then made a second account where it was a different Star Wars character with the year of the last of the original trilogy movies. To help further clarify that it's definitely the same guy, following the same strategy of name picking. So both of these personas are messaging me on Discord saying, "Hey, can I get in?" Like, whenever I ignore one, the next day the other one will contact me. So then to the original guy, I said, "So you got your account back?" And he's like, "Yeah, I miss you guys. It'd be great to, coordinate so that I don't hit you guys again." And then I said, "Yeah." So he gave himself away, but then after that, kept acting like he was this other guy. Like, I'm not that other guy, so I don't know whatever beef you had with him. I just want to play the game.
Oh my god.
Again, I respect all of these moves. If you're gonna go all in.
So despite that hilarious tale, the fact that cheater now has his account back
the
is
whole
messed
point
up.
is
This is like, you know how like everyone, because we're all in quarantine still, is making those like isolation videos. It's literally one of those where it's the same person. They just have two different outfits on and they're talking like back and forth.
This is one perspective. This is the other perspective.
Oh
the
my
ponytail
god.
is still in both. Wait, man bun?
Yeah.
What are we going with? On
Yeah.
that? No.
ponytail.
You can see from
Yeah.
on that side, it's a little different color of scrunchie.
Yeah.
Good. I look forward to him being in your chat. That'll be fun.
No,
That'll be fun.
we blocked him. I blocked him on
Bummer.
Discord. Like, I'm not listening to him ever again.
Oh my god, he's gonna make a third account.
With like a date of the prequel.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
He's like, no, I'll do something different this time. Like, no. He puts 1999 in every time. It's like, damn it, it's just too good of a name. You can't think of a different name.
Oh man.
Number 4, and the biggest news. Ignore all that other garbage. But this guy, Faither4, is retiring from the game and leaving the ultimate content about the game, the Holotable News Network. So that's the real big news. Before we get to that, though, that brings us to our I Love You, I Know segment.
Mhm.
I'm going to say our signature segment. I know it's easy to get jaded by this game, but there's a reason why 2 of 3 of us, 66%, are still playing 4 years later. So we're going to talk about things that we enjoyed over the last week or two. Celek, Sarah, what's been good?
I mean, we already talked about this. I unlocked Ray this morning, so
That's a good one.
That was good. And then I'll just throw this in because we already talked about it. I really enjoyed my last couple rounds of 3v3 arena.
It's the best, but yeah.
Because my first round, I let it auto set. And
Nice.
I didn't
Did you
even
lose?
attack.
Is that your first auto set time?
It's my first auto set.
Congratulations. I never
Oh
did
yeah,
that.
I lost. He didn't clear me, but I lost.
Did you try on offense?
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right.
No. My second round, I set my defense and I like preloaded a team and then I like pieced out. I was like, okay, bye. And then my
Did
third
you throw
round,
up a peace sign while you did that too?
yeah.
Okay, good.
I've been drinking. And then my third round, I like kind of tried. But I was kind of more trying to like be a smart ass theory crafter and wasn't doing very good at it.
You were trying to be Sir G.
I was trying to be Sir G.
It's hard to fill those shoes.
And I was like, yeah, I can totally do this. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I lost. It was my first Grand Arena. I came in 8th.
Oh, yeah. So the one you tried to be Sir G, you got an 8th. I can't tell if that's the mentor or the mentee.
I had a lot of fun because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And that's my I love you, I know. And Ray.
Oh, got it. I thought for the last round you were going to say that you did a good job or something, but no.
No, I lost.
Okay, all right, cool. That makes the story way better. I agree. Thank you. Sir G, what's the good stuff?
I pulled a Sir G and lost many times this last Grand Arena. So that's just fine. And I also accidentally did not set the first round again.
Okay, so I did it on purpose. You did it.
Okay, I did accidentally twice now.
I did it on purpose. I was like, I can't beat this guy. I'm gonna auto set and make his life out.
Yeah, then he can't like get a high. No, I'm awful at that.
But I still got Kyber this season.
Good work.
I love that.
Just barely. Yeah. So I was happy about that. And then the main thing I loved, nothing new really came into the game. I enjoyed my Kylo Ultimate doing well in Arena. So it was a slight change. But the main thing I loved was the gas return for his event, Clash on Camino, in which my videos got tons.
Okay, for a second I was like,
yeah.
what the hell do you care?
Yeah.
But then it clicked right before you said it. I was like, oh, because you're raking in that sweet ad money.
Yeah. For real.
Ad money.
Yeah, that's the main thing I'm happy about. But it is cool to see, because I've always wondered how many people don't get it the first time, how many come back the second time, how many come back the third time. So this has to be, what, the 5th time? 4th time?
4th at most. I would have said 3rd even.
4th.
But maybe 4th.
It's at least the 4th. I think it's the 4th. And I got just as many views as the 3rd time.
That's good.
Got it.
So it's cool that there are a lot of players out there who just take
like just as many that are.
They take their time it takes time for them to get to the point where they can unlock General Skywalker. So I had to relearn the whole event so I could try and respond to some questions because I'd lost everything in my head.
I don't even remember who you need.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a.
Yeah.
It's gone.
So like those are like they ask on YouTube type of thing.
Right. Like you did this, but I don't understand why this isn't working for me. And I'm reading it and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't. You
Yeah,
gotta.
Is
I
that
don't
how you
know
answer,
either.
or do you give them like a total BS answer from your
A little bit of BS. A little bit.
from your Mount Olympus as you look down on the peons and
Yeah. Like I had to go back and watch my videos to teach myself how to play the
Oh,
event.
Sir Jesus is sitting there. He's like, it's RNG.
and you're like, who made this? This is the worst instructions. These are the dumbest. I don't like that guy at all.
Oh,
Why does he do
man.
these things?
But as a testament to my videos, I went back and played the events again
Mhm.
and beat them both. Phase 2 and 4, the hard ones. Like within an hour of trying.
Man.
Excellent. I did like on our Discord stuff. There were certainly people that were espousing
up.
your virtues. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
you deserve the place on Olympus, but we still have to knock you down every once in a while.
Who's gonna do this now? You're gonna make
Yeah,
my
fair.
That's what you're for, Sarah. That's what you're for.
I'm
You have to play.
Canadian.
You'll have to feel it through and see if you can mimic my voice or something for getting it on there. I did a couple things we'll go over. I did enjoy like straight up. I mean, because 3v3 is good. I think I can't remember. I was either someone can .gg my page if you want, but I was either 10-2 or 9-3. So I did a solid job in 3v3. But the very last one was the first one that I beat Ray because I always put my own Ray on defense because it's easier. That I beat her without it. So that was enjoyable. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have won because I totally muffed up against a Geonosian Brood and Watt team. So I would have lost, but it was Ray and Chewie and Han, and I sent in like 8 or 7 just a couple of tunes so that she would get Ray below 50% health and then use the General Skywalker team, and it worked out the first time. So it worked out nicely. I was able to beat. So that was a good, it was literally the last thing I did in the game was beat Ray in Grand Arena. I thought that was good because I was kind of mad at myself that I lost to the Geo's team.
Yeah.
Without doing that. Well, that was the stupid way to end the game is I lost to a 6-star Watt. That was bothering me. So I enjoyed it. That was good. That was set up. All right. On to the That's No Moon segment where we talk about the biggest topics going on in the game. And you are stuck with listening to my BS, my self-indulgence for a long time. I didn't even put the notes up here.
I know.
These two don't know what's going on either. But sit back because we're going to be at this a while. Too bad. All right. So the things I like to do, if you're on our Discord, I like to make me some lists. So I'm going to give you the top 10 reasons why I'm quitting and the top 10 reasons why this game is absolutely fantastic. I cannot believe I played this game for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It is wonderful in many ways. So I'm going to go back and forth between the two. You two chime in if you have other thoughts with that. Number 10 reason why I'm quitting. Sometimes people suck. Let's be honest. From guild to shardmates, Reddit, whatever it is. I think me and Sir G are very much in the same boat. I have always preferred a single player game. I have never been one to go out, and even in my daily life, if I'm in school, if we have 4 people in our project and I don't think the other 3 can handle or are putting in as much effort as I am, I would much rather do the whole thing for everyone by myself than have to coordinate with those morons. That's how That's how
For
I
sure.
feel about
Yeah.
lots of things. Like it's just easier for me to do it than it is to like, did you get your part done of this? Like, here, it's just done. Go away. We can all have a good grade. You just don't pay attention to it. So from times when you're just mad at guild, and the game absolutely has toxic fools associated with that, is number 10. Number 10 reason why, and they're not all related to each other, but a couple of them are. The community of this game can be fantastic, and as a general rule is. Before this, I did not have a Reddit account. I had never been on Reddit in my life. And for at least 2 of the 4 years, I went to Reddit 3 to 4 times a day. A day to look at and go over these things. I'd never heard of Discord or Line, or like Discord was not a word that made sense to me other than the actual use of Discord.
Which is not a positive word.
No.
Yeah, right. Like that's like you're right.
Not at
Like,
all.
what we're doing on there is the opposite of what the word is, and was just great. And getting to know people and having that set up. Some of the stuff that I personally like, I got a lot of creative joy on putting like the night before Chewy post on Reddit, and there were some Malik memes and stuff that got several hundred, like likes and comments and stuff that people enjoyed. I really liked feedback on that stuff. That was really quite cool. Number 9, reason I quit. No quality of life has improved this game in 2 years. Did they do something last year? A year and a half ago? Nothing has improved in the day-to-day life of this game in at least 12 months. I'm going to say at least 18 to be more like it. It is just a total lack of caring about how people play this game. But number 9 reason why the game rocks, they did have some good ones throughout, 4 times speed, but mainly being able to change my payout. I was this close to quitting a couple of years ago or whatever that was. I think that was in fall. So that was 18 months ago-ish that they changed that. Like that absolutely changed the game for me because it was in the middle of like dinner, and there were times that I wanted to, or like was like, oh, I should be doing this, but instead of like hanging out with my children, I'm like, like I just need to get this battle in type of thing. And I was never at the point where it was something that was distracting for that, or that they noticed it. But in my head I was thinking of like, I wasn't there. If I was like making a meal instead of being there, it was like, I got to get this little battle in while I do it. So being able to change that until mine was whatever 9 and 10 or 10 and 11, depending on time of the year, where everyone else was asleep, and having that set up totally changed how that worked. And doing more things like that to make the game easier was great. So I don't want to put that down. Number 8 of why I don't like the game. I need you 2 to fill me in on this, because this has been one of my freaking bugaboos forever. I tried so many fixes to this. My app resets at least 70% of the time that I like go to do a different thing and then come back to it.
And
I know
it resets?
some people, I have spent a bare minimum of 24 hours. I would say probably closer to 100 plus hours of my life. 100 hours. That's so crazy seeing that splash screen. Because like it comes back to, updating game systems and loading Cantina, looking for content updates. And it would go through times when it would be great, where it didn't do that a ton. And then there are times like now when it was just every time I would go back into it, even if I like did something, looked at a web page and went right back to it 2 minutes later, I had to the whole thing restarted again. I did. Like I looked up every different, I tried resetting like developer mode on phone stuff and could not get it. Do you 2 have that as an issue?
I don't have it if I leave the game for 2 minutes. I have it if I leave the game for like 2 or 3 hours. It'll do it. I have the issue of I get the loading wheel of like your connection isn't working. I get that like 10 times a day. And sometimes it's spinning for just like close to 5 minutes. I'm like, cool, see ya. I'll come back when you're done.
Yeah, I didn't have.
Yeah, and then it'll be like your retry your, you know, when you airplane mode in
Check your
Territory
internet
War.
connection.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, your connection's not, and you've like force closed. I'll get that error message when I'm in the app doing like opening a store, and I'm like, cool, and it just spins and spins and spins and spins, and then I'll get that error message, and I have to hit OK, and then it spins, and then it lets me in. But I don't get the reset.
Which is just frustrating. I mean, either one, it sounds like we're probably spending about the same. But that was at least 10 minutes a day of my life for 4 years every day.
Yeah. I don't know enough, but I think that has to do with your phone's onboard memory. So it's different.
Oh, I tried. Yeah, if there are other things out there.
I don't think there's anything you could have done with that phone, but a different phone would have handled.
Well, this is. I've had 3 different phones. I mean, this is. Okay. I've had the top. I mean, this is now it's a Pixel 3 XL, but I mean, when I got these phones, they were the very top of top phones you can buy. The biggest $1,000 version of these things. Because, side note, if you're going to spend money on something, spend money on your phone. Yeah. You know how much time you spend on your freaking phone?
Oh, I know.
Spend money on it. It's worth it. As just a random side note, but that killed me. Number 8, to go along with the not resetting all the time, though, in a way, because it's on your phone, you can play this game anywhere in the world. I mean, I've traveled quite a bit. So / humble brag, I'm lucky, blah, blah, blah. But I was figuring out like major trips I've been to. I've been to Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, and the US. I've gone from Oregon to Florida and places in between, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Mauritius. Like I have literally been around the world and have not missed a single day of playing this game in 4 years. And on these trips, they weren't like, I felt obligated to play. They were nice little breaks in an airport. Like if you're sitting there for 2 hours, getting your dailies done and doing that type of stuff didn't feel like a chore. It was a nice distraction. So that was like, it's really cool to be able to do these things anywhere in the world that you have some type of connection, and to get them to a point where, it's fun to do in any of these places with that. So there is no other game I've ever played that's been anywhere close to that. And number 7 reason I'm quitting, power creep and like kit bloat. I'm blaming Treya. Treya is the problem that brought about Jedi Knight Revan. I really liked Treya's kit, but because she was so dominant compared to the other ones, that made Jedi Knight Revan be not just who they wanted to be, but they had to up it based on their beta people and get to that point. Sir G, you have a different one?
I blame Jedi Knight Revan. I don't think Treya was so overpowered because there were a couple counters. I guess, yes, that was one of the tipping points where it was hard to come up with any team to defeat the meta. But you could still defeat Treya with, 2 or 3 good B teams. Whereas Jedi Knight Revan started the impossible to beat without a specific 5-tune counter that goes well.
And that's I totally agree with what you say. I'm saying like Jedi Knight Revan was because of Treya in a way, but either one of those was the kind of started to be the tipping point of there is no return almost in a way.
And all the fault is on CG, but it's also on the players, because they wrote something like, we are delaying Jedi Knight Revan because it wasn't up to the standards people were expecting, I guess, in their beta testing.
Yeah, right, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That ruined the game. Them saying it's not good enough, it's not OP enough, we aren't going to spend this much money because it's not that outrageously powerful. Whatever they added to the kit, I think, is what broke their understanding of how much creep they should add to the new meta.
Yep. And not in within that, even just creep, but just it became super difficult to know what was going on. Like I still don't know why Rey heals half the time she does.
Yeah.
When I'm using it, like it's just like you do
It
this
seems
move
like a
and then all
bug.
of a sudden she's like back to 100% health, and you're just like, I don't remember that in her kit, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in there.
I'm not gonna go back and read it.
Yeah, it's just too long.
Even though
It
she
makes
didn't
sense.
attack, so it's not health steal. Yet somehow her health is all the way
Right,
back
yep.
up.
It just like, I don't know. She's just at 100% health again. Okay, cool. It works out for
fine.
me. On the flip side of that one, number 7 reason why the game rocks. Newt, T3, Candace Ordo, like having fun uses for underutilized tunes. Sergi, you brought me on to Newt. I stole him from you. Awesome. I mean, just fun. They make sense. They work on these counters of other things that people are always trying to do and getting set up. So finding those things and getting it where they need to be was a really good thing to add to the game, and something that I truly enjoyed in getting in there. And that did certainly become harder and harder, but throughout there's always times to find that where we're at. Number 6, this game absolutely added stress to my life. Like
Oh yeah.
It is not something that added years to my life. It definitely took away time. Maybe not years, but a couple months of my life. I think there's a good chance were stolen by this game. On the flip side of that, number 6 reason why I love the game is like it added stress to my life because I cared. Like it gave me something that I was always thinking about, and like even if I wasn't playing the game, there was a good year where it took the majority of my mental capacity spent on this game. I could legitimately have learned several languages by the amount of time I've spent on this game. But I
just
don't
the amount of
blame
time you spent on raids.
Oh, I mean, and just like in your head and like if I was practicing Spanish every time that I thought about playing this game, I would be so good at Spanish. But it's not like I'm not playing the game now. It's not like I'm going to learn Spanish. And people that use that as an excuse are kidding themselves. Because you know what you didn't do during the pandemic while you were locked down doing nothing? Learn freaking Spanish. So to steal a quote from a song I like, it's like, I want to change the world, instead I sleep. You know what I mean? Like you go over these things and you're not going to do them. But good and bad. I mean, the first time we had Grand Arena, like I remember my heart like pumping, like really, really caring about.
You were juiced for Grand Arena.
Yeah,
I was. It was so that's a good and bad to this thing. But it was because I thought the game was fun and enjoyable and get it set up. Number 5, being forced to play on a schedule is just not, we're used to it now. But
oh yeah, it's like in our like it's like in your routine.
Thank you for a segue here, because I already tell you I have whatever having a phantom limb. I have like phantom limb syndrome for hours right now. Like I have this.
Oh my God.
It's almost 10 p.m. my time. So in 45 minutes is like when my payout is done. So I should be like finishing, and recently I've just had to go up 1 or 2 spots. Like I should be finishing my climb right now, like making sure that I'm in number 1. Like this right now is the time that I need to like check to make that happen. And I feel like a little anxious that I'm like missing it and I need to pick up my phone and put that in there. But I'm also, so far I haven't like missed it, but I do like the time like 10 p.m. doesn't mean 10 p.m. to me. It means like payout and refresh. Whereas right now 4 p.m. was, getting the 3. Yes, those are my 3 bonus times.
Yeah.
And like that's I don't think that's a good thing within there. But it is like I have those phantom things here.
It's funny you say that, because literally last night we were going to bed and I was falling asleep at and I'm on the same schedule as you, Faye, where my payout's at 10.
Yeah.
And I was falling asleep. It wasn't even midnight. I was like, I have to stay up till 1 because I need my bonus energy to get my tickets for Ray. Yeah.
For Ray, for sure. I totally agree. And in that same, I would need to do a list within a list because that's what I do. I do have two regrets. Two regrets. One, I couldn't get Rose to be useful. You, Rose. You suck. I tried. You're at relic 5. And I throw you in some Grand Arena teams, but there is no useful use for you. It's just, I gave her the Zeta. I gave you the best mods. You suck, Rose.
You
let
suck,
me down.
Rose.
In all ways. Contrary to most people, I like The Last Jedi, except for every part that you're in it. Canto Bite is terrible. Rose, you're terrible. It's just a bummer.
Oh.
And then my number 1 is I didn't get the stupid Sith Miter title. I really tried, but I got number 2 multiple times, but I never got number 1. So
you should have just gone for a merc.
I know, but that felt like that wasn't quite earning it.
It is earning it.
It is.
If you can do the damage, you earn it.
I should have.
You need to download the game again
and go for a merc.
Yes.
And then get the title.
Yes.
Or then just keep playing.
It's yeah, there you go. Oh, I'll just that's a good point. I'll just keep doing it. So those are my 2 regrets in there. Number 5, good thing. This was the cheapest entertainment of my life by far. Like hours to spend, to dollars spent ignoring like going to the park because it's free. Screw you, whoever says things like that. Like digital entertainment. I think I spent like $160 on this game in total. Almost all
for
of it.
4 years of
cards.
gameplay.
That's
yes,
insane.
for 4 years of every single day. And I averaged at least 2 hours. At least. Some days way more. And then when you add in like the mental energy of time I spent into that, it's really sad. it's sad. And I spent $160 on that. Bonkers. Like, so you didn't have to spend $50,000 on this game to be good or at the top of that. So within the list within the list on the other side is I had 4 really good moments in the game. Number 4 was getting Lando to do an AoE that hit for 8,000 damage. I remember getting that double down to work and doing like telling the guild, being like, I got 8,000 damage on that. It was super good. I really liked the light side GOTB and like getting higher scores than people with way better rosters than mine was enjoyable. I enjoyed the Ray meta, not the just Ray meta, the JTR meta. That was fun. I enjoyed that and playing, and there were a couple of different teams, and I did that well beyond it was when she wasn't the top anymore. And then number 1 was satisfaction-wise, getting Jedi Knight Robin without spending a single cent at the time was something that I pride and accomplishment. EA, thanks. That was something that I held, I guess, dearly. Number 4, reason I'm quitting the grind. This is, in a way, almost number 1, but the game for me became 95% grind and 5% fun. And the balance of that just became something where it's just like, I don't like, for every 3 days I play the game, I enjoy doing Grand Arena once or getting light side GOTB. It just wasn't enough for me. So the game still had its moments, but it just wasn't good. But reason why the game rocked, the grind is something, if there wasn't for the grind, you wouldn't still be playing the game.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for making and working your way up and getting just Ray before other people and planning on these things. And just like I said, the Generate Revan thing was the reason that was enjoyable was because of the grind. But it can become a point where it's too much. Number 3, reason why I'm quitting, Kyrotech.
Oh,
everything about Kyrotech, from how they released it to the like, hey, this will help like not need so many stun guns. Like that was a giant FU from the very beginning. For
real.
And everything about Kyrotech is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I cannot understate how much I hate that. And certainly, like number 3 on my list here of reasons why I'm quitting the game is because they introduced Kyrotech into it. Number 3 reason why I love the game, theory crafting. Again, like Sergi, stuff that you do, thinking about ways for these kits and the 170 whatever characters we're at now and how they interact and stuff is chess times a lot. And getting them to all work and figuring it out in like Wampanator type of level things is really freaking cool. And there aren't many games that offer that ability to
For sure.
think of and go over and in a way outsmart 10 plus million other people that have downloaded the game and get to that point. So for people that do a great job with that, it's just it's really fun to get that figured out. Number 2 reason why I'm quitting, they just haven't done anything in the game in a year. There's just, and we've beat this drum, and I'm late to beating this drum, like the no new content, and I don't necessarily consider the TBs like reskins as a negative thing. I do think they put a lot of time and effort into those, but to have that to be the only thing that's happened in the game in 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, that's the only thing that's changed in the game in 2 years since the Sith raid, to be the TBs that we have right now. That's not okay. Number 2 reason why I love the game, this is kind of self-indulgent on top of the whole thing that I'm being about.
Mm.
And this applies to us 3 as well. Like, we're good at the game. It's like cool to be some of the best in the world at something that people have downloaded, again, over 10 million times, and other people would reach out to ask questions on, and for me to, like, be in this grand arena and be like, and all these people with same levels and being 9-3 and be like, I could have been 11-1, or things along that line of it just, even if something is as ridiculous as a mobile game based on a sci-fi thing from 40 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
to be the best in the world at something that a lot of people care about is really cool. Like, I can't underestimate how important that is to being good with that. Thanks for sticking with me. Number 1 reason why I'm quitting the game, Capital Games. I have been
I'm not surprised.
with, like, I think I gave them a lot more credit for most of the show than I should have, in a way of, like, I don't know what they've done well other than took an idea from someone else, put on Star Wars, didn't screw it up for a couple years, and then just went off the freaking cliff. They are absolutely terrible at managing the game's public image. They have terrible quality assurance. They just give it to, like, us to figure it out. They're bad at game balance. They don't update it enough. They don't communicate at all now. They used to do some, but now it's straight up zero. They know that they have, like, a solid structure of a game that they ripped off from other people, and then now have decided to just do the least amount of work as possible. I still don't understand what 90 freaking people could possibly be doing at that company. It doesn't make any sense to me. They're a terrible shepherd of this. And I just, they could have done so many things, and how many times do we get, well, there's one more thing, or, I was waiting for, I've been wanting to quit for a while, like, maybe the road ahead will have, but even that hasn't been something that they've still haven't done.
Yeah.
It's June 10th. Out of a 90-day period, they're at least at day 70 and still haven't done what they were going to talk about in the 90-day period. It doesn't make any sense to me.
They're passing the buck. Like, next month, tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow.
It's beyond something that's, and it just hasn't gotten better. It's certainly gotten way worse than it ever was. And Capital Games is just not a good shepherd of where this was. It would have been nice if they could have, like, sold it off to another developer that cared 2 years ago.
take over the licensing.
Yeah,
and,
I think that
yeah.
would like they could have then worked on whatever they were working on and done their thing, but they just put in more relics and people spend money. And yeah, I get it in a way, but also I would care about what I was doing. That I wouldn't have let it get to this point, but whatever. Number one reason why this game rocks, it's not even close. The Holotable News Network is fantastic. I would have quit the game a long time ago if it wasn't for how much fun we have here. So I need to go a little bit more into this. To go with the number one reason, question, comment from Discord Corner from our good pal Darth Stevel. I'd like to hear a bit more about how the show got started and a quick run through of the history. So since it's the last dose of you three, what happened with that? So I like on long drives, typically I like podcasts for that if I'm going to parents or whatever. Galactic War Report just wasn't enough. And none of the other podcasts that I listened to, I like connected with. Rebel Force Alliance some. But once that went off the air, I was like, I think I think I could find a way to fill the gap of Galactic War Report is a fun, entertaining one. But the guys running the show aren't super good at the game. I think there's a way to be entertaining and also give people really good in-depth info about it. So I also knew if I'm going to do something similar to what I was saying about CG, like if we're going to do this, it has to be done properly. Like just doing an episode here and coming back in 6 months isn't how I do it. Like it needs to be on a set release schedule. They have to have standard segments. I've listened to lots of different podcasts, different ways to do it. Like those are the only ones that you come back to are ones that are focused on these things and work well. So after I laid that out a little bit, and this is all part of my using the mental energy I could know how to say it, donde la biblioteca. That's the only thing I know in Spanish. I would have other things. So, after I laid some of that out and figured out how to record and edit and disperse the show, which also took way more effort than I thought it would to figure that stuff out. Eventually I was like, all right, I think we can do this. So I sent a little request in our guild alliance, which is just 3 guilds. It's not like this some giant alliance at the time or something, to see if anyone was interested. I don't know if anyone would be, but I got 5 or 6 things. Luckily, Sergi and Sarah were in that group along with Howie. So Howie I know in real life. Part of the reason my wife was like, yeah, you should do this podcast, and not you freaking nerd, knock it off. Was we Howie, we were good. Whatever. He's married my cousin, and he's a great guy. And it's all right, if he's gonna do it, not like she was gonna let me do it. I need her permission, but I won't harangue you too much if he's in on this. Right. So, and he was in more on the first couple and did that stuff. But you two were the ones that we really got this going with. So, Sergi, super pumped that he joined the show and was interested. I had been in our guild for maybe a couple months at this point, and we had never, I had never talked to Sergi during this time. But when he, when we put that out there and he wanted to be in the show, that instantly gave us credibility. We have not, I know for a fact, we wouldn't have grown as fast or as big as we did if you weren't involved. So it was something that, you're a great balance of deep theory crafting stuff, but also not as super snore at the same time, entertaining while we go over these things. And, to everyone out there, it has been nothing but a pleasure to work with the whole time. I think my main hesitation with him being on the show is well, is he again, I used it facetiously before, but for him to be on Mount Olympus and oh God, he's never around, and we're gonna do this thing once a week, and he's gonna be oh no, I'm doing this thing, or I'm gonna be 40 minutes late to this. That doesn't work with me. I'd rather have a goat do it with me than someone that was 40 minutes late. And
a goat.
He was
greatest of all time.
Nothing.
That's what he meant.
But you were never that way from the very beginning. We were always on the same page with these things, and were never too good for the show or hard to schedule or anything. And I credit you with making the Holotable News Network what we are. So a pleasure to
Thanks,
work with
man.
in all areas. And
Pleasure.
thank you. And then the other, like, of those 5 or 6, like Sarah, to be honest, I was also excited. No, maybe not quite as excited as Sergi, but I was excited that we have the possibility of having a female host. So like that is of the other ones, like I didn't know you, I didn't know any of the other ones, but like, oh cool, like that would be great to have a female host in there. But of course, as in all things in life where this happened, this doesn't even begin to encapsulate how awesome you've been. Funny, smart, self-deprecating, one hell of a kit reader, getting these in there, a math wizard. It's been, obviously you would have been the best choice of this anyway, had we known you from the start. So, I think all 3 of us had a pretty good chemistry from the start. We had several people, comment on this over the last 2 years, but we don't talk outside of the show.
No.
Like the way it says, we're not like friends outside of the show. We don't have some thing that we've gone over, except for like the literal 5 minutes, if even, before we start recording, where we talk a little bit, and usually about the show. This is the entirety of our relationships have been on air, and I think feel like we are good friends outside of the show in a way.
Yeah.
And that we've been friends for a long time, and it works out very nicely. So that's been fantastic, and all they've done for this has been wonderful, and that we've done it for the love of the game. Like not that there's anything wrong with this, by all means. If you two want to, when we're done with this, have the show and have like ads all over every 4 seconds, by all means. But there were no ads. No one, not only did we not get paid, like doing our time, there's no Patreon page. We didn't ask for people to be, this was just good times. And that time absolutely flies by. I think we talked about this before the show. Like, this is some of the an hour and a half has gone by since we started the show. And it feels like it's been 10 minutes and has been wonderful. So Sergi, Felix, Sarah, thank you for being fantastic. And the good news is, for everyone out there, they're still going to keep the show going. So I told them a couple weeks ago, I need to hang it up, but they're going to keep it going. So you have the 2 of the 3 better halves of the show, thirds, I should say. It's Sarah would have corrected me. You understand?
I'm really good at
the show will still be going strong. I just won't be here, so it'll be better than ever. And by all means, contrary again to what I said before, you guys start a Patreon page. I'll be the first one to support you. I really look forward to listening to the show without me on it, because I don't listen to it when we're here. But my next long drive, the Holotable News Network will absolutely be the first thing that I listen to. And finally, we're not quite done with the show yet, but finally, to all the listeners, that's been some of the craziest part here. LA, Seattle, to London, to Sydney, to Rostock, Germany, to Pasig, Philippines, and Polva, Estonia, to Bridgetown, Barbados. It's been crazy how many people have listened, and I've loved interacting with all of you, and hope we've made your commute, your studying time, or whatever the heck you do to procrastinate feel better. I don't have exact numbers, and not even including the YouTube streaming stuff, but with our podcast stuff, when using some averages, we've had over 4 million minutes of people listening to our show, which is crazy. I mean, that's a bonkers number, and something that we're proud of. Especially now, you've been stuck with my voice here for the last, I want to say it's 10 minutes to me, but it's probably been like 30. They're like, oh God, why don't you shut up? Too bad. That we've been, I can't believe we've had so many people listen to it and had set up from that. A special shout out to people that joined our Discord server and have made some of the best community around. Some people that have done a lot. Darth Stevel, RA898, Ski Trooper, Gore Handy, Jimbo, Real Aria Curran, Cotman, Slash, Pugrum, Lord Bane, Darth Danimal, Corvs, Double Bluff, Brick Hard Meat, Sanholo, Minx, Holotable Hero, Porg, Count Dudku, Darth Fade, Dobby, Laga, and more than 100 more of you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And I've enjoyed having you listen to the show. So, rank and file segment. Let's just transition here. Ray's at top, followed by Buddy Boy.
Hard left.
Yeah, that's where we're going. Sarah's gonna like make me tear up a little bit here. So
I'm trying not to cry.
I appreciate that. I wanted to look as I leave. Ray is on, because we don't do this every time, but Ray's on top. She's at 37. Kylo's at 29. Jenna Skylark is at 19. We're hard left in on that. I wanted to make sure you had that.
No one cares about the meta report, Faye.
Yeah,
Shut up.
I had to, or that's where it would be. Last but not least, I'm not going to let you guys comment. I just want to do it.
Faye.
Oh, okay.
Faye, I want to thank you for being our friend and for starting the show many years ago. And quickly after you started the show, it became one of the highlights each month. Like, looking forward to getting to chat with you two and hang out while talking about the game. This has been the best place to actually converse with people about the game. You know?
It's like it's having good friend. Like, it feels again like we've been friends and like I don't have anybody in my town that you could talk to about this game.
Yeah.
At all, let alone like on our level of going over it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's better than a text conversation through Discord.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So I really appreciate you creating the podcast. Everything, all the format, all the sections, all the ideas came from Faye throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sarah and I, as far as I know, have just been, passengers.
Follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah, contributing here or there.
Yeah.
You know how I told you how I feel about group projects earlier.
So I really appreciated how Faye did so well, and it's something I was proud to be a part of. So even with it, not skyrocketing, our podcast don't get 100,000 views on YouTube every 2 weeks. And like Faye said, there's no Patreon. It's not a moneymaker or a big, splashy thing out there on YouTube, but it's so much fun. The fans that we've gotten to talk to and interact with, and the Discord corner is so cool. Really answering questions as though we're extending the conversation to more people. So I've enjoyed just getting to hang out with you guys every 2 weeks, no matter who listens or who doesn't. So it'll be really sad to see it go, Faye.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do. It does, like, doing the show here is like, maybe I should do it one more time, or not one more, but like keep going and like getting this, like having it be your last show in a way like re-energizes you. You know what I mean? Like it was, and not the game, but the game is still the game for me. And I just, and that's just BS to come right back again.
Oh man.
And then last but not least, let's head to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm to talk about who and what we're currently farming the game, because everyone knows work comes before going to Tashi Station to pick up power converters. I do have a little history about this too. It's really like to coin Harrison Ford here. Like, you can write this, but you can't say this. Like that phrase there is really hard for me to say. I've never gotten it down, but I really like it. Like, it makes sense. And I want to say the Tashi Station thing every time, but it's really wordy and weird. But I'm glad I kind of made it through the last time. Thelax, Sarah, what have you been working on? Or other comments? We'll allow it.
Or other comments. Okay. Okay, so I have to tell you this because it's your last show. For now.
Until next episode.
Until next episode. I have to tell you this. I put the Zeta back on Finn.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. I feel like that's for me.
Definitely.
Yeah, well,
there's no use
answer
for
G
it.
together. Like, that was a good. And there's so many things that we've had through that for 2 years. That's towards the top. The spin in his Zeta, the rise and fall, and now rise again, apparently, is up there of our side thing. So appreciate it.
I need another leader in 3v3, so.
Hey, I use them all the time. You got some wins for me. You got some wins.
So I had to tell you, what am I farming? Ray tickets.
Woot woot, exciting.
Yeah, and Ray tickets, and I'm using all of you. You will really enjoy this. I used all of my guild event tokens and guild event token 2 currency for gear for Ray.
No, where you know how Sergi and I feel about that, but
I know how
legend, it's worth it.
I know how you both feel about it. And I went to click on the last set of Kairos that I needed, and it was like, you lack the necessary currency. And I was like, oh, this is a sad moment. And farming relics. And that's it. I feel like I can't talk. I feel like I'm gonna cry. I feel like I'm losing. I feel like I have to reiterate what Sergi said. This is one of the. It is completely different from text where you talk to the same people every single day. This is one of the things that every 2 weeks, I'm even today, someone's like, oh, what are you doing later? I'm like, I can't talk to you later. I have plans later. I'm busy. I'm busy. Yeah. And I feel like I'm losing one of my friends, even though I'm not really losing you.
We're never going to see you again.
I feel like, even though I'm not, but it's there. It's making me sad.
I feel the same. On those same lines, I would have done this without the show. You know what I mean? This would have been cool. It's even cooler that people listen to me, drone on, and especially you guys. But just like you're saying there, just this is worth it here. Having other people listen to it is cherry on top type of thing. So I appreciate that. Sergi, what about you? What are you farming these days?
I am farming crystals.
Wait, how do you farm crystals?
By not.
Way. You didn't tell us this. Hold on, people.
Wait, I need crystals. I gotta get 39 guns.
I am farming crystals by not investing in anything.
Got it.
So I did spend some crystals. I wanted to take one of my characters for a long time. I've wanted to get to Relic was Geonosian Spy.
Yep.
So finally, when I'm done with all this Galactic Legend garbage, I'll eventually get to Ray, but it's not a priority. So I went ahead and spent a couple thousand crystals to get the Chirotech I needed to get Spy up to Relic. So now he's Relic 3 or 4.
And it makes a big difference when you face against him. It is. I think he is absolutely one I wanted to have, but was setting up for Galactic Legends, and good for you to at least do one, if not more, of you're done with the Kylo thing, and
But now I need to save again and just put the game on autopilot until something actually comes out.
But how are you farming crystal?
By not spending them.
Wait, go back to the farming crystal part.
To the arenas. I get crystals each day from my payout, and then I don't touch it because there's nothing worth investing in.
I need stun guns.
Yes, I don't know if there's a light side node, but for dark side, I farmed my stun guns while farming the tickets.
There's no light side node, which is so I'm kind of do I farm the tickets in the meantime, or do I go get some guns, which is stupid. I should just farm.
I would stick with the tickets.
Farm tickets. Spend the 1,274.
You can find the other stuff elsewhere. Yeah.
Buy the full piece of salvage.
I already did that.
In a couple days, you should have the crystals or. Whatever. It's you need the Ray to get more crystals in the arena, but you need the crystals now to get to the Ray.
Now that you have Ray,
605 crystals. Yes.
Now that you have Ray, it it would be good to pivot to stun guns to get her to relic. Then go back to the ultimate.
I literally need 39 stun guns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
a
spend the
couple
next
days
2 or 3
would
days
kill ya.
doing
That's
stun
it.
guns. For sure.
I also, side note, so I've not looked at, sorry, I'm going to mini rant. Last one for Faye. I did not look at the event setup before I did it. Why do I have to farm 70 tickets now to do tier 4 to get a stupid little icon thing?
I know.
I'm shaking my head for people at home.
Tier 5 is the same thing, but it's a
What?
title. It's a title or something.
Yep. We've lost Sarah. She's not there anymore. But
Which
yeah,
is
140 is spent on a title and a portrait.
which is a slap in the face to the players.
It sure is.
Just put some shards and give that as a bonus.
It absolutely should
my
be.
God.
It just makes you
Are you
hate that
kidding
you
me?
spent 70 tickets on a
you
worthless.
kidding me?
I know. No,
No,
he's
that's
not kidding you. It
that's
really
what it
takes 12 times 70 to get the if you beat them all every time.
CG sucks, okay?
Number
They
one
have not
reason,
made a
number-
good decision in years.
So the last tier is for the ultimate.
Yeah, once you get to tier 6, then you can start getting your 1 of 10 with every 70 that you get every day and a half. If you do the 6 nodes and 3 to 4 refreshes.
Balls.
Yep. That's how they do you. I did do some farming this time. Before I left, I to make sure I wasn't like too tempted, I spent all my crystals on like the lottery packs for Sith Bomber. Total garbage. I mean, so I said, I spent 19,000 crystals, so over $100 worth of crystals, $120 worth. And like I just can't wrap my head around spending that and just being so disappointed with, I keep getting 7s after 7s after 7s and spend $120 on something and still have it be like Sir G said, like a 5-star that can't do anything against the main. That's so crazy. So that was not a good feeling. So I didn't put that in a good to know. But I did do Krennic and Death Trooper up to Relic 7. So I went all in on them, spent the stuff to get there. So I knew for sure I would probably be like, oh, that was several weeks worth of stuff that I put into those two. I did put them into Sith Raid. They got like 2 million on with a Krennic lead against Scion in phase 2. So, back in the day, 2 million would have been okay before relics existed for other people. And then I put those two with Rey and the Resistance Bros as my arena team. They were totally trash in there, but it was fun because those are my guys, Krennic and Death Trooper. So that is how I spent my final days that I deleted a couple days ago, and haven't missed it too much other than the Phantom Limb stuff of the hours, because it just hangs over you. But that'll be a good thing to let go from there. That's it. Thanks for joining me, you two, and for everyone listening. It's been good. Any other last comments before we head out?
Keep us up to date on what new games you play.
Yeah.
I should say, good point. I would love a chance to, if you shut me down like CG, that's fine too. I understand. But like, end of the year when we're going over predictions again, and I totally won that. I kind of want to be on that episode, or like I want to be on while I've never seen it before and see like Sarah reads to me what Jedi Luke's kit is, or something like that. So this may not be the last you hear from me.
It'll be a special guest.
Great. I would truly appreciate that.
Eat the paste special.
That'll be the first Patreon lock episode. But again, Sarah, Sergi, it has been my pleasure to do this with you two.
Ours too.
It was much better than I thought it would be in all ways. the actual show itself, doing it, people will listen. It's been wonderful, and it's because of you two. I appreciate it. And all the listening, I will truly miss all of you, and that'll do it for the last time. Wait, for more.
I gotta ruin your ending.
I'll take it.
Moving forward, we're gonna
please
alternate the. It's not super important, but we're gonna alternate the two podcasts. This and the Disney Sorcerers Arena. So this one will either be back in 2 weeks, 1 week, or 3 weeks. So just keep an eye out. And then from then on, it'll be every 2 weeks for this podcast.
So if you listen to SNN and HNN, you won't get it all just fire hosed at you. It'll be
every week,
every other week.
Every week.
We're like, oh, thank God this draconian leader can let us do what we want to do every week instead of sticking it around forever. So perfect. Please, again, I plan on the show listenership going up, not down after I'm gone. So keep that up. And I truly look forward to listening to it going forward. Any other comments or things to look forward to, or like things you're booting out of the show? Like, oh man, it's 5 of these 6 segments got to go that you want to tell people now, or you'll just tell them next time. That's cool. It's
going to be a surprise.
All right. Well, that ought to do it. I'm waiting. Interruption. For the last time, Chewie, we're home.